Radio, it's on.
Trust the Miller Media Group to deliver your message.
COVID, flu, RSV, and shingles vaccines are free of charge at the Christian County Health Department. Both high-dose and regular-dose flu vaccines are available. Make your appointment by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Here's Dr. Pavi Gill from Springfield Clinic, Taylorville.
Lifestyle medicine is about motivating you to improve your quality of life by changing habits and behaviors.
Find out more by clicking Dr. Gill's icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names. Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and our guest in this segment is Kelsey Bentledge. She is a registered dietitian and nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council. Kelsey joins me today by phone. And Kelsey, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. I wish, that I hadn't cut the plague that's been going around, but I'm doing great other than that.
Well, and unfortunately, it is that time of season and kind of on the tail end of it. Hopefully, Kelsey's getting to rest a little bit here and do so over the phone today. So thank you for joining me while you're still not feeling all that great. And we've got plenty to talk about here. And we touched on some of this in our last interview, but I'm glad we get to hammer some of this home today, talking about your gut health, its microbiome, and why it's so important for health and how dairy products can really help that. Could you get a start there on what exactly is your gut microbiome, what makes it up, and why it is so important to our overall health?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but the gut microbiome is actually incredibly complex. It has trillions and trillions of microorganisms, including bacteria, that live in that digestive system. And those healthy bacteria play a really important role in breaking down our food, absorbing nutrients, and just keeping us healthy, supporting our immune system. I know I need a little extra help with my immune system right now, so that's a really important component. But a healthy microbiome has a balance of those beneficial bacteria that improve that digestion, reduce inflammation, basically all the things that we want to be healthy. So when we're eating a poor diet full of really processed foods, people can notice the side effects of, poor digestion, inflammation, all those things that we don't love with our gut. And a lot of these digestive problems like IBS, Crohn's disease, and diverticulitis can really be improved just by having a healthier gut microbiome and having those healthy bacteria really implanted into our gut.
Kelsey, what can you tell me about the connection between your gut microbiome and your mental health, whether it's your gut microbiome is healthy and maybe that leads to better mental health, or whether it's poor and might lead to worse mental health? What can you tell me about the connection between those two?
Yeah, so there's a lot of research that's out there now connecting the two together. And it's kind of like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Is it an unhealthy gut makes for bad mental health, or does bad mental health connect to an unhealthy gut? And I think the answer really is that it's a connected system, and the better that we can take care of our bodies and take care of our gut health, the better we're also taking care of our mental health in the process as well.
And really so important, obviously, in today's world, and increases in importance as we continue through the years here. But it's just interesting that those two things have been linked since. And I have to agree with you. I mean, overall body health, probably not just your gut health, probably plays a big factor in it. But some of the research that's come out has been quite interesting about the two. In terms of inflammation, I'm sure there are other factors that play a part in inflammation, but what factor does gut health actually have on inflammation in your body, kind of its response to it?
Yeah, so whenever our gut microbiome is healthy, specifically, research is showing that it helps to reduce inflammation, and that inflammation is things like y- may display in different ways in our bodies, right? So, like inflammation we might know it regularly as like, oh, I twisted my ankle and now I have swelling. That ankle is inflamed. But we can actually have regular inflammation in our body caused by stress and just overall bad health and things that will show up, especially in the gut from that inflammation, is things like diarrhea or constipation. So inflammation is a huge player in that gut health realm. And the better we can take care of our gut microbiome, the better off we are with that inflammation.
Most definitely. And so let's maybe talk a little bit about some ways to benefit our gut health. What could you tell me about some specific dairy foods and some of those that might be able to benefit your microbiome and moving forward, maybe some changes in your diet that could really help out in those areas?
Yeah, so yogurt is the most traditional way that we have known and loved to replace healthy bacteria in our gut. I know everybody's probably been on an antibiotic in their life and been told by your doctor, hey, eat some yogurt to replenish that healthy bacteria. So yogurt is the tried and true one. Another one that's kind of growing in popularity is kefir. Kefir and yogurt are very similar in that they're a cultured dairy product. The big difference is that kefir actually has about twice the amount of what a typical yogurt will have as far as strains of live and active cultures of those bacteria in it. So kefir is a beverage versus, a food like yogurt is. So they're just a little bit different. Both are great. Both are healthy for you. They have a ton of great nutrients. They have those live active cultures. But kefir just kind of comes out leading in the bacteria realm and how many cultures it has.
And I will probably continue to call it kefir just because, I have no way of knowing better when I when I do so. But for kefir, it has, you mentioned, double, maybe even 3 times more active cultures. Yogurt has them, but kefir obviously with more so. What is the difference kind of between the two? Are they both fermented milk, or is kefir kind of a completely different ballgame?
Yeah, so they are both fermented milk. They're both cultured dairy products, but they are made a little bit differently. So yogurt's made by fermenting the milk with specific bacteria cultures. I'm not going to pronounce those cultures because I wouldn't do them justice, but things like lactobacillus and things like that. So that yogurt will be actually infused with those cultures, and that's what makes it ferment and thicken. Where kefir, on the other hand, is fermented with starter grains, which include both bacteria and yeast. So kefir has a much broader range of probiotics and has a greater diversity of those healthy bacteria for gut health. Typically, 12 or 13 strains or cultures are found in kefir. But both products are super nutrient rich. Like I said, they're dairy products. So they have that calcium for bone health, protein, B vitamins for energy and cell production. So they're just super nutrient rich, both of them. But the kefir does have a little bit more robust amount of bacteria in it.
And while the focus is kind of right now on the gut biome and how it can benefit there, it's the overall health benefits can really show in many ways, as you mentioned, with the B vitamins or calcium, especially as you continue in your aging process. And I know women have a particular focus on them when it comes to bone health later in life as well. So you're just benefiting the both. Can you tell me a little bit about the taste of kefir as somebody who has not had any? Is it very similar to yogurt, or what differences have you maybe had in kind of your trials with it, I guess?
Yeah, so next time I come into the station, I'm going to have to bring some kefir for us to try. But a lot of people haven't tried it because it is kind of new. And if you don't know how to utilize it in your kitchen, that's a big thing. People don't pick it up off the shelf. But as far as flavor goes, it's a beverage, so but it has more of like a tang and a effervescence to it. So I always tell people it's almost like the champagne of the dairy world, where it has like a little bubbly to it. It's tangy like yogurt because it is a fermented dairy product, but it's super delicious, and it goes well in a lot of recipes. And actually, our recipe for this month, it includes kefir. So I'll shout that out at the end. But there's lots of ways that you can utilize it in your kitchen that would really surprise you.
Well, I am excited for our potential first taste test on the morning show here then, and we'll get a true evaluation. I mean, it might hit my tongue a little differently than yours or somebody else's out there, but that would be a lot of fun. So I will look forward to that when you come back around in studio. Joining us over the phone here today is Kelsey Bentledge. She is a registered dietitian and nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council. We'll be back around to talk more about the differences in kefir and also yogurt, and also how these benefit your gut biome and your overall health, whether that's mental or physical. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. Back around in just one moment.
WTIM. If you're looking to grow your business, the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation is here to help. From keeping local businesses thriving to attracting new investment, they're all about building a brighter future for Shelby County. They sponsor job fairs to connect talent with employers and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs through the Shelby County CEO program. Find out how they can help you. Click their icon now at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. The Shelby County Economic Development Corporation, growing business, growing community.
This is Bill Pinkston, General Sales Manager at Landmark of Taylorville. We are celebrating the new year with huge discounts on the few remaining 2024. Current Buick and GMC owners can save $13,000 on a new GMC Sierra Denali, or you can save $10,000 on a new Silverado ZR2. Need a fuel-saving SUV? Save up to $5,800 on a Buick Encore GX. Plus, we have over 400 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships. And with our Landmark for a lifetime powertrain warranty, why would you buy anywhere else? All roads lead to Landmark of Taylorville. And remember,
you always do better at Landmark.
Seeing is believing, and your new customers can now hear and see your message. Deliver your message on our 6 Miller Media Group radio stations. And now, potential customers will see your message on our new 36 by 72-inch two-sided electronic sign installed in front of our Taylorville studios on Illinois Route 29. You have the opportunity of having your message seen by over 11,200 drivers a day. Contact your Miller Media Group account manager today and deliver your message through your potential customers' ears and eyes.
There's only one Central Illinois radio station that brings you the memories of the 60s and early 70s as you are cruising down the streets of your hometown. The dial position is 98.3 FM. The station is 98.3 WSVZ. From Macon to Vandalia and I-55 to I-57, cruising 98.3 plays the hits from early Elvis in the 60s to the British invasion of the Beatles, Herman's Hermits, and many more from the 1960s. Then we swing into the early half of the 1970s with artists like the Guess Who, the Doobie Brothers, and Elton John. Every song brings back something you remember about growing up. Set a button and crank up the station, playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power, cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
Small towns are in, and Taylorville is poised for you and your family to join them. Taylorville has what you're looking for. Find out more, including upcoming events, by clicking the Small Town Taylorville icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Senior Insurance Quote in Decatur can find the right plan for you. Their Medicare plan specialists are ready to answer your questions about Medicare plans and help you explore your options today. Click their icon on the obituaries page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
Back around with the WTIM Morning Show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm Grayson Bauman, and joining me in this segment is Kelsey Bentledge. She is a registered dietitian and nutrition educator with the St. Louis Dairy Council. And Kelsey and I have been talking a lot about the differences between kefir and yogurt, its overall benefit, its benefit on your gut microbiome. And this interests me quite a bit here because lactose intolerance is becoming more and more of a thing. Folks are finding out that they are lactose intolerant. What can you tell me about kefir being able to help those that have maybe recently found out that they might not handle lactose near as well?
Yeah, it is becoming more and more prevalent. And, there's lots of ways that we can still consume dairy foods, even if we're lactose intolerant. The general gist of lactose intolerance is that your body, if you are lactose intolerant, doesn't make lactase, which is the enzyme needed to break down lactose. So when it comes to kefir specifically, that lactose is broken down through the fermentation process, so it makes it a lot easier to digest for those that are lactose intolerant. And then the probiotics that are in kefir actually help improve the body's ability to break down and tolerate that lactose over time. So it can actually not only be easier for people with lactose intolerance to digest, but it can actually improve their ability over time to be able to digest other dairy foods that are not kefir. So, but in any situation, if you have issues with lactose and you still want to enjoy dairy foods, there is the lactose enzyme pill you can buy over the counter, or we have a ton of tips and tricks on our website as well to check out for those of you out there that are lactose intolerant.
And I know we want to get to some other things, but I had no idea that there was an over-the-counter pill that would help you digest lactose. Could you tell me some of the options that are out there?
Yeah, it's just the lactase enzyme that your body lacks if you are lactose intolerant. So you basically there's lots of different brands. You can just take a pill before you consume that ice cream at the birthday party so that you can still enjoy your time and enjoy your dairy foods without having the repercussions there. So that's always an option. Of course, there's lots of other ways that you can consume dairy foods, like cheese is very low in lactose, so is yogurt. So just keep that in mind that lactose intolerance is really a spectrum. Some people have it more severely than others. It's just really finding out what works for you.
Okay, and that is new to me, so I appreciate you just explaining it just a little bit more here. And we did touch on some of the broader nutritional benefits. Kelsey, is there anything else that we missed that you'd like to hit on here this morning?
No, just, I talk about how nutritious dairy foods are every time I come on air, but it's got all of those great nutrients that dairy foods provide. It's a good source of protein, especially the kefir and the yogurt. They're great sources of protein. So there's lots of options out there in the market between yogurt and kefir. So get out there and try something out to help out your health, especially your gut health.
And I know that you plan to let us know about your recipe of the month, but what are some easy ways that folks can incorporate some of these dairy products into their meals, even if the meal might not even call for it, or maybe as a substitute? Could you kind of get me through that as well?
Yeah, so yogurt, everybody knows, the yogurt cups are easy grab and go snack, but there's lots of ways you can use yogurt, like mixing it into a smoothie. You can also mix kefir into a smoothie as well. You can use it as a breakfast parfait, on the go snack. Kefir is a great drink just on its own, but you can also make it into recipes like pancakes, salad dressings. It also is really great on like overnight oats for oatmeal. So there's also flavored kefir out there as well. So that just a delicious drink or beverage to have that's kind of a little boost for your health. So, and this month you mentioned the recipe. We actually have a kefir dip that is for vegetables. So it's like a ranch kefir dip with mayonnaise. It's super delicious and gets those live active cultures into your diet while also consuming other healthy foods like vegetables. So that's a really great recipe to check out on our recipe recipe page on our website this month.
And with that, it would have been perfect maybe for the Super Bowl just on Sunday, and maybe we can find a way to incorporate it into one of our meals moving forward here, and we can dive into that just a little bit more. The last thing with about 2 minutes here, Kelsey, that I want to make sure that we talk about. It's often tough to know if you're finding the best choices at the store. How do you find the best choices at the store? What are you needing to look for?
Yes. So not all products are created equal, right? So whenever you head into the dairy aisle and you're wanting to get something that has these live active cultures to help with your gut and staying healthy with your microbiome, look for products that are labeled live and active cultures. that will ensure that they contain those probiotics that you're looking for. Also, if you're maybe looking to reduce sugar, looking to reduce fat in your diet, depending on what your needs are, that there's lots of options out there for that as well. You could always also purchase the plain version, so plain kefir, plain yogurt, and then add your own products. So you could add, fruit to your yogurt or a little bit of honey to where you're controlling the sugar content that's going into it, or different ways to flavor it, like adding ranch seasoning or taco seasoning to it as a dip instead. So lots of options out there. If you haven't found the one that you love yet, there's so many brands and flavors. So try out any brand or flavor. Make sure you find one that you love, because there's one out there. There's so many options on the market today.
Sounds great. Well, Kelsey, we are out of time here, but you can find out more at stldairycouncil.org. You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram. That's at STL Dairy Council. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining me today by phone. I can't wait to have you back in studio next time around. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville.
Now, Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
The Consumer Price Index was up 3% from 12 months earlier. It's a hotter than expected report that has sent Wall Street sharply lower this morning, as it likely bolsters the Fed's resolve to delay any further interest rate cuts. Mark Fogel says he feels like the luckiest man on earth. The Pennsylvania teacher back in the U.S. after a presidential envoy negotiated his release by Russia.
I want you to know that I am not a hero in this at all. President Trump is a hero.
Arrested in August of 2021, Fogel was serving a 14-year prison sentence for possessing a small amount of medical marijuana. Elon Musk suggesting that the work of rooting out wasteful government spending is a no-brainer.
It's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical. I think it's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it.
But there have been literal howls of protest from Democrats and lawsuits from government employee unions. Ukraine's president suggesting a deal aimed at ending the war with Russia.
Speaking to the Guardian newspaper, Volodymyr